Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very belated Royal Fashion News live stream. And yes, I know nobody knows this is happening because I decided to do this last minute because we did hear that Catherine is going to attend tonight. And I thought to myself, you know what? I don't think I can miss this. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to have a live stream very belatedly. And so, yeah, I am so excited though. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in if you have. And I will be busy sort of doing the live things behind here, trying to get and making sure that everybody who is interested in viewing is able to, because this is super exciting. Catherine is ascending the state banquet tonight with France. And the question is, what tiara will she be wearing? I don't know. So we are going to be seeing here in just a second because the live stream with, what is it? I believe it is the Royal Family channel. If you haven't been on there yet, you need to. And that is what will show what tiara. I'm watching that right now. It's supposed to start here at 3 o'clock. So in 3 minutes, we should know hopefully what tiaras people are wearing. And guys, I cannot wait to see, because I have a couple of options for Catherine. You guys will have to let me know which ones are your potential favorites. But when it comes to Catherine, I think some of the possibilities I'm going to guess are going to be on the lighter end of the spectrum. And what I mean by that is that tiaras are heavy. And I imagine if you're still recovering, you don't want to wear something that is super duper heavy and draining. So I am anticipating something smaller. So let me show you what I'm thinking about here. And again, if you guys want to catch the Royal Family channel, let me get into the comment stream. I'm putting the link right here to their channel so we can watch both. I cannot stream both at the same time just for copyright reasons, but it's in the chat right now, Royal Fashion News. If you want to check out the link, please do. And yes, we need to talk about Catherine's Dior look today as well, because it was fabulous. But before we have our answers of what tiaras we shall see, I'm going to show you what some of my favorite options are, just because I think that's going to be fun. So this is Royal Fashion News on X, if you haven't followed it yet. And so the possibilities are Strathmore Rose. I mean, obviously Queen Mary's, what is it called? Lover's Knot is a possibility. But the only reason I don't cite this one very highly is just because it's sort of a large profile. You do have the moving pieces, and tiaras can give you headaches. So if she is prone to headaches or something like that, that would be, to me, like a reason why she wouldn't choose the Lover's Knot. Strathmore Rose is a great possibility because it's a lower profile piece. It's not too big. I would imagine it's very light, and I think that would work super well. Another possibility is Queen Mary's Diamond Bandeau, a controversial choice. Obviously, this is what Meghan wore for her wedding. I like it, though, as an option because there's a part of me that just wants to see it obviously be revitalized and not, under the cloud of Meghan Markle. A third strong possibility is a Cartier halo. I think Carol mentioned that as well here because it is French in origin, which would make sense. Oftentimes, the jewelry is chosen that reflects what this, the connections between the particular countries. And then the other option, which is still my favorite option for the foreseeable future as a long shot possibility for Catherine to wear, is the Persian turquoise tiara. I really want her to wear this. I love the turquoise. I had something on X say they thought it would be better with like pearls or something. No. The turquoise is awesome. The turquoise is awesome. It's unique and interesting. And I think it would offset fantastically from her hair. But Alice says, I agree. The Cartier, I think the halo is a distinct possibility. I think it is too. It's not part of the exhibition that's going on right now. And so for me, it's the biggie. It's the biggest possibility. And I think it's a great option because you do have the marks to the past and everything and the connection. And it's also, again, a lighter piece. For some reason, I feel like Catherine is going to go lighter when it comes to the weight of her headgear. Now, again, that's just my possibility, But Natalie says, I think the aquamarine tiaras would be great for Catherine's coloring. So there's kind of two, the big aquamarine, which actually nobody else has worn yet, and the pine flower, aquamarine pine flower, which belongs to Anne, which is in the Cartier exhibition. So that's not an option for tonight. I imagine the aquamarine is a bigger profile enough one where it might be reserved for just the queen. But honestly, I'm not a fan of either of the Brits aquamarine tiaras, to be quite honest. So Anne says, I'm French and everyone here on their TV is here on their TV to watch the state visit. Oh, that's awesome. So yes, if you guys are curious, I posted the link in the comments earlier. Maybe I should pin it, but let me see if I can, nope, I can't do that. So there's a link. If you could just go to Royal Family Channel, that is where you can find the live stream to the state banquet tonight. And the Royal Family Channel is like, it's by ITV or whatever. And part of the reason why I don't do, let's say, more videos on Royal News Network about, let's say, the general day-to-day of the royals is just because they have all the greatest video and all I would be doing is stealing theirs and repurposing it. And that just seems a little sus on my part. So for Camilla, though, the possibilities are sort of interesting as well. Oh, and I should say, when it comes to Queen Mary's diamond bandeau, I would not be disappointed at all if Sophie wore it. So there's actually 3 options that are probably off the table, although somebody said the Kokoshnik was removed. But we do have the Adele Dubar tiara, and we have the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland, and the Queen Alexandra's Kokoshnik. All 3 of these are pictures I took, are currently on display in the King's Gallery. So I feel like they're unlikely options because you have to remove them, you have to put them back, and there's so many tiaras in the British vaults. I don't know why you would choose ones that are obviously already being utilized for something else. Somebody said that they had heard the Alexandra tiara, which is this one we're seeing right here, that it has been removed. So that's a possibility. I don't know, but I'm kind of hoping that that's sort of not the case. I would like to see her pull out something else. The thing is, when it comes to the Brits, guys, the vaults are so vast that I really want them to bring out more tiaras. Like, stop going with the same 3 or whatever. That's what the Brits tend to do, and it drives me bonkers, guys. Is they tend to stick, you're given one tiara, and that's like the only tiara you wear. And I like, and that's sort of disappointing too, because the Brits have a huge vault. Whereas compared to a country like Belgium, yeah, we do see the same tiaras all the time because the Queen really only has maybe about 3 at her disposal and one that I would consider a Queen level tiara. When it comes to another tiara devoid country, you could say somewhat is Denmark. Their collection has sort of been diminished over time a bit, sadly. And the Queen has been pulling out like sort of tiaras that haven't been seen in like years and making a bandeau tiara out of some huge diamonds in the collection that weren't being utilized. And so we will see what is offered. But yeah, Geeful says, I'd love to see Queen Victoria's sapphire coronet Prince Albert designed one day. Yes, you can definitely see it. It's at the Victoria and Albert Museum if anybody's curious. Obviously, the Cartier exhibition is going on there as well. And I really wish they would clean the display because the display has gotten a little scratched over the years. So I was trying to give good pictures and I'm like, oh, the glass in front of it is all messed up, or the plastic or whatever it is. And you can definitely see it all the time. It's not part of the exhibition, which I think is great. And Carol said, I think Catherine can work Princess Margaret's jewelry and tiara with similar coloring. Yeah, I think the turquoise would be fantastic against her brunette hair. And so that is my thought. That is my hope. That is my dream, ladies and gentlemen. And so, yeah, I just am really, really hoping we see it. So the live stream has not started yet. It was supposed to start at 3. I keep checking as well, Getty Images and X2, just to see what, if something where we get something first. And so let's go ahead though and look really quickly here. I'll open well, no, I have Getty Images pulled up. So we'll just pull up a Getty Images look here for Catherine and this little, a favorite look for sure, which is this Dior number. And I am so excited she wore Dior. I've always wanted her to wear Dior. And this was a great way to do it. It's again diplomatic dressing 101, which means that she is wearing British and French designers mixed, which is awesome. Gianvito Rossi is probably Italian, but I don't really know, to be honest. So I really, though, absolutely love the look. I think it's fantastic. I really like the hat. I think the hat is amazing. And it's a little bit lower, like a smaller profile for this style, which I sort of kind of like. And obviously, GMV Rossi pumps. This is actually the lower height for the heel. So I think we are seeing this change with Catherine from the 105 to the 85. So I find this dynamic within her kind of changing very interesting. So I'm like, ooh, but I love this look. And she really is leaning on the pearls this year. I feel like I want to do an entire video talking about the pearls because she is wearing pearls all the time this year, all the time. And so I'm really fascinated by that. I'm curious I mean, obviously it could just be personal preference, 100%, but I'm curious if there's like a deeper meaning anywhere or anything like that. Oh, and the Royal Family channel did let people know should be starting shortly. So they're running a little bit behind. But I do absolutely love this look. One of my favorites ever. These jackets are incredible. And funnily enough, Queen Mary of Denmark wore the same jacket on her state visit to France. It's kind of funny because I feel like Emmanuel Macron and his wife have been like doing like foreign visits like all the time. And I'm like, is he ever in France? If you're French, you'll have to let me know because he was in Norway recently for a state visit, hosted the Danes, the Belgians. We also have them like in Vietnam recently or something like that. Melissa J said as well, I want more archival tiaras. Me too. I'm really wanting them to sort of get out of, I would say, sort of the Queen Elizabeth kind of mentality. Probably that came from probably Queen Mary, to be quite honest, which is that you're given one tiara and that's it. And that's all you ever wear. And you may get another, but you're rarely allowed to kind of play with the collection. And I'm really hoping that the Brits get more into sharing pieces because the fun thing, and I always say this, but it's still so incredibly true. The fun thing about the suites and the Duchess, you never know what somebody's going to show up in. You never know. Like there's some tiaras that are definitely just the providence of the Queen, but like Princess Madeline wearing the Edward the Seventh tiara. I'm like, I didn't even know she could wear that. I thought that was just for the Queen. I'd only seen Queen Sophia wear it. And then Madeline shows up in it. So very exciting. And so they also said, in the meantime, let us know who you are most excited to see at the, so the Royal Family channel running a little bit behind, but they do a great job. So if you guys aren't aware, here is what the live stream looks like from them. Again, I will be sharing bits of it as we can, but not directly streaming it the entire time, just for like copyright reasons and everything like that. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I know this is super duper last minute, but I just really thought I just kind of was debating and I was like, ooh, it's 15 minutes away. And I'm like, I could do a live stream or I could just wait and do a video later. But it's like, but what about a live stream? That would be fun. So we also have a possibility of Sophie attending. She attended the lunch. Princess Anne might attend, although she was not at the lunch today. We have the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, who are a possibility as well. So yeah. Shandu says this channel has no respect to the Queen. Well, it's not meant as disrespect, but I do think I like the way other monarchies do things better when it comes to the tiaras. Just saying that right now. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that because I love seeing tiaras and I love seeing more than just the handful that we see. And I think if we can get more out there, I think it's funner. I mean, I know I say fun and that's not really the point of this, but to me, the tiaras are fun. And I want to see more of them and I want to see them all the time. So yeah, and Carol said, which I just saw on X as well, the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester are celebrating their 52nd wedding anniversary today. So they might not be in attendance at all. We shall see. But we definitely won't see the Cartier Indian tiara, unfortunately. That is on display at the Cartier exhibition. I just do want to let people know as well that if you want to see the Cartier, get tickets early or become a member so you can go at any time. That's what I did. Melissa J said, I've gotten so bored of the Lover's Knot tiara on Catherine. It's beautiful, but I'm just tired of it. I mean, I think it looks great on Catherine, but I kind of tend to agree because it kind of tends to look samey same after a while. And I just want to see other things because there's so many other things in the vault. Seeing the same thing all the time is just a little dull. Little dull. The reason why I don't think that the Lover's Knot is a possibility is that it's bigger. I would imagine it's heavier. It has a higher profile, and you have the missing pieces. So again, and this is me just speculating. I don't really know in the slightest, but I would imagine if Catherine's still recovering, still struggling with illness and stuff like that, that a tiara that's, let's say, heavier and a tiara that is, higher profile and stuff like that, and with moving pieces, because those pearls do move. It might be more uncomfortable. That's just my personal thought. Again, have no idea for sure, but just thinking, just like thinking out loud and everything. But I'm really hoping, keep refreshing all the things, guys, and seeing when do we get a view. Just hoping. Still waiting. But Melissa J says there's a tiara with a sapphire set in diamond sunburst that hasn't been seen in decades. I was squealed that came out. Me too. That's another option. The sapphire bandeau would be perfect for Catherine. Seen on Princess Margaret in the 60s. Yeah, I think that would be great. Let's see. So live stream hasn't started yet in terms of the one, but I do have the Queen's jewels, and I think the sapphire one might be in here, but maybe not. This is kind of it doesn't show it there. It's kind of a smaller piece, but I just would hope it was. I love this book, but it doesn't have all the tiaras, guys. But this is the first tiara book I ever saw and enjoyed checking out when I was in my library at in my hometown. Oh, we do have a picture of it here. You can barely see it. So this nope. There we go. So you can see Queen Mary right there with the dark stone in the center. That's a sapphire bandeau. So there you go. I just thought we'd bring this in and the Queen's diamonds to see if we pull up and see what something is, if we're surprised or whatever. Hopefully, I mean, the surprise would be grand. I'd love to see also Princess Eugenie's, it's not Princess Eugenie's, but the Grenville Emerald. I'd love to see that again. So Melissa J says the turquoise tiara Margaret wore hasn't been auctioned. It was an auction with her other jewelry. Nobody was sure where it is. Yes, and it was one of the ones too that was a legacy piece that should have belonged to the crown. So there was belief that most likely, at least for that particular tiara, it would go back to the vault because it belonged to the crown. Yes, Liz says, can't tell. I love tiaras and sparkly things. Me too. Alice Ransom Rave says, there used to be a tiara that Queen Mother, which was made of a narrow line, which can also be worn as bracelets. That was pretty. Yeah, I'll have to, because there's a couple options I'm thinking of. So we'll have to see. Hope Diamond says, who decides what tiara will be worn by whom? So this is family by family. I actually do have a whole video on this called Tiara Politics, in case you're curious. But the basic sort of line is, you could say, is that usually the queen gets to choose first, and there's a series of tiaras within every family that are considered. And this is a tiara colloquial I learned years ago called the big guns. That is what it's called, big gun tiara. So this is the highest profile ones, the biggest ones are called the big guns, and those are reserved for the queen. Some families have more of those than others. The Brits pretty much have all big guns because Queen Elizabeth wore basically all the tiaras she wanted to. And then gave one or maybe two to be utilized by other members of the family. Sort of unusual. And the Swedes have a different system where it basically the queen gets to choose. There's like I think 3 or so big gun tiaras, but even those big guns have been worn by other more minor members of the family, to be quite honest. And then you have like the crown princess would get to choose next. Then most likely Princess Madeline would get to choose after that. So it goes in order of succession, but also blood. So Princess Madeline is a blood princess. She's the daughter of the king. So I would imagine she'd get preferential choice over Princess Sophia, who married the king's son, Carl Philip. Although King Gustav is really likes he's very, let's say, like favors his son over his daughters in some ways. So like that could be a misnomer, but generally it's hierarchy, blood, and then kind of any other minor people after that. So in Sweden, though, it is different because the king has 4 sisters. Unfortunately, now it's just 3, I believe, because one of them did sadly pass away. But the 4 sisters would wear some tiaras, like let's say the bottom fringe, which is usually reserved for Crown Princess Victoria. It's like the Crown Princess tiara. So yeah, just a couple of different families do things different ways. The Dutch are very liberal with sharing. And well, but I will say as well, just to clarify, because I know this is kind of confusing. But so when it comes to tiaras, so yes, the queen gets the first choice, and then whoever in the hierarchy is the crown prince or princess. That can include the Duchess of Brabant, which is the title, the Princess of Wales, which is the title, Princess of Asturias. So that can be blood or non-blood, and then after that, it would go by sort of blood and then married in, most likely. So I hope that helps. Carol says it wasn't the Queen Mary's bandeau could exchange the central stone. Yes, the flower element could be taken out and worn as a brooch. All right, guys, still no live stream from the Royal Family channel. I am disappointed, guys. I was like, yeah, we'll be on there. And then, yeah, but it's good to speculate before we get to the big announcement. Geefel says a bandeau would be nice. Yes. Rachel says, I think the theme will be red, white, and blue for gowns for the senior royal ladies as a nod to the flag of France. Yeah, it's definitely. I've noticed that the Brits tend to wear, the women, especially Catherine, has always worn either white or muted colors. No bright colors she's generally worn. I don't know if that is simply her preference or if that's part of the dress code. Although I know Sophie wore like a deep green dress one year. So we'll see. Diz fan, thank you so much for the super chat for this live stream. What happens to the York tiara, particularly once Prince Louis gets married? So as far as I'm aware, the York tiara is like Sarah Ferguson's personal property. So the other kind of aspect of royalty when it comes to tiaras is if a tiara is purchased for a particular member. Now this has happened in Denmark in particular, and Sweden and Norway. And so if a tiara is purchased for you, it's your personal property. So it doesn't generally belong to the crown. Now, sometimes those tiaras will be like left to the crown so they can continue within the family, or they'll be given to the daughters or what have you. But the York tiara, as far as I'm aware, is the personal property of Sarah Ferguson. So Princess Beatrice wore it a couple of years ago to the wedding of Crown Prince Hussein of Jordan. So I highly doubt we will see that tiara return back to the crown for whoever Prince Louis's wife happens to be. But there are so many tiaras within the British collection that they really, really don't need to rely on the York tiara at all. I think that's totally unnecessary in my personal opinion. So I guess we do have a picture of the banquet hall. And so that's kind of fun here. And so there it is. So this is again a bit different because we're having this in Windsor. So very excitingness to be had, though. These are always so fun. And this is, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of this room. You'll have to excuse me, but I mean, imagine looking at how long this table is, and this is different because the Buckingham Palace, when they host the state banquet, it's sort of in a horseshoe shape, but with straight edges. So I don't know what you'd call this shape. I'm just going to stick with horseshoe. Says Royal Family's channel still struggling to get that live coverage here. Still on its way. So hopefully we should get there pretty soon. But here's the tab. But yeah, we will see what happens to the York. But yeah, Priyanki says a tiara with a French connection. That would be my guess. I would guess Cartier would be an option. You agree. I want Kate to wear a Cartier tiara, her wedding tiara. That would just be nice. It'd just be a good blast from the past. Fran says, who bought the Baltimore tiara? I don't know, but it definitely did go up to auction and was sold. And because it was a purchase by Margaret, it was her personal property. So it's different than something that belongs to the crown and was like lent to Margaret long term type of thing. Kathy says, I hope Kate wears something other than the Cambridge tiara. Something never seen on her before. I agree. I'm ready to see something different. Melissa J said, is correct. Beatrice did wear the York tiara to the wedding in Jordan. Jane says the Duchess of Gloucester has the most amazing tiara collection. Her collection is very good. It is. And I hope at least some of the pieces, because some of them would be quite, I don't know if you want to call it rich, but there would be a lot of inheritance taxes connected to the tiaras. I imagine, now this is just my theory, but if you leave jewelry pieces to the crown, you don't have to pay inheritance taxes on it. So I would not be surprised if pieces from the Gloucester collection ended up in the main line of the family just to avoid inheritance taxes issues and to keep them within the family. I think that would be very smart. Cyclidoids are go. Such fun. Yes. Janice says, Catherine wore red to the Chinese state banquet. Thank you. You are right. That was like the only time she's worn a bright color. Generally, like the last couple of times, I've only seen her wear really light colors. Oh, we have Freon shout out one the Ryan's Air spotter says, hello, bonjour. From Freon, I'm a boy, but I speak English, French, Scottish, Welsh, Irish, English, German, and a bit of, is that Luxembourgish? Very cool. Yeah, Priyanki says yes, because red is an important color for Chinese. Yeah, so we will see, Catherine. We'll see some definite diplomatic dressing here. So I would not be surprised at all as well. I'm kind of hoping Catherine wore Dior for today. It would be cool if she wore a Dior gown too. Kathy T said yes. Oh yeah. So talking about Catherine wearing color. Kaylin says, would love to see the Vladimir tiara. We have not seen that one yet. That would be a great possibility for Camilla. And again, I don't know why she would grab the Queen Alexandra Kokoshnik over something else. Because the Queen Alexandra Kokoshnik is, I mean, it's nice, of course, but you want to have something with French origin, so that seems like an odd option to me. I was really hoping I hope for something more fun. Is that bad? So yeah, we keep waiting, guys. Haven't quite gotten to the state visit yet. So hopefully we shall see something very soon. We're supposed to have a live stream for the Royal Family channel at 3, and it's currently 3:24. So running quite far behind. Kathy T says, I hope she pulls out the stops on fashion since this is France. I'm hoping so too. Alice Ransom Ray says, the York girls are interesting because this is the first time I think in a long time that the Duke of York has actually had children to inherit the title. The last few Dukes of York have become king. Great point. Great point. Melissa J says, I think they've paused using the Vladimir tiara because of its ties to Russia, things having been dicey with them. I mean, true, but I think that's kind of a lame excuse, to be quite honest, because the Vladimir is amazing. And it was owned by an extended member of the Romanov family, not the direct. So baby wants a Vladimir. Lee Foster says the room is from St. George's Hall. That's right. Kate Chris Anna says, I think July is for Ruby. So hopefully we'll see Catherine wearing something red. Okay, guys, I just had a great idea. I just had an idea. So there was a necklace Catherine wore eons ago. And in the first year of her marriage, it was diamonds and rubies. So that necklace could have definitely been turned into a tiara, guys. I'm like absolutely positive that necklace could have been turned into a tiara. Ooh, I want to see that as a tiara. It's just like a shame that haven't gotten some of those looks, you could say. Such a shame that the Brits don't. I should say the shame the Brits don't do as many tiara events as they used to. Although I will say it's sort of, let's say you could say childish a little bit. Seems a bit young, but this is the piece I'm talking about if you're not aware. This is from 2011. So this necklace here, guys, could definitely be turned into a fringe style tiara. And so we see here, I mean, I don't know about the flowers, but this could definitely, I would 100% believe this could be mounted on tiara base. Like it has the possibility of definitely seeing that happen. So, but I don't know. All right, guys, I keep checking on checking on X, checking the Royal Family Channel, all those sorts of things to see when we can get our first sneak peeks. Because it might be that maybe a reporter gets something first. But the unfortunate thing about the Brits, too, is that they're very, I don't know if cautious is the right word or stingy is better, but they don't allow a lot of press in for the state visits compared to like the Netherlands or Denmark or something like that. And so sadly, we just kind of sit here and don't get that many options. So still waiting. Still waiting, Royal Family Channel. Oh, come on. So we'll just keep it on here just so I don't have to jump backwards and forwards and see if something is there or not. So let's keep going. And so I like the idea of the ruby though. We have RD. Hello, Brittany. Hello, everyone. Hello. Erica says, will Catherine, wear Dior or another French brand for the banquet? A big question. She wore French for the greeting. So English might be a possibility for the state banquet, or she has something else. But the challenge is that Alexander McQueen is no longer being run by Sarah Burton. So we could actually see Givenchy as an option because it's a French fashion house, and now Sarah Burton is over Givenchy. So we could see like a totally different aesthetic. So, Louise, 2 questions. One has nothing to do with tonight, but I hope you'll answer it as well. What happened to your best and worst with the Real Royals? It will be back soon. Lots going on, so sometimes it's hard to get to everything. And can we please hope that Princess Catherine will wear the Grenville tiara? So that would be a cool option. I do like that option quite a bit because I love the emerald. I think it's fantastic, but we shall see. RD says, especially given the fact that future Duke of Gloucester will no longer be a royal duke. Yeah. So best to like put it back in the family, the tiaras, and not risk them being sold and given to like and end up in vaults to never be seen again or go to other countries. Giefel says perhaps Princess Catherine's wearing pastels and leaving the stronger jewel tones to Camilla. That's a possibility, but I'm not sure. Akrina says, hello from France. Princess Catherine will wear any tiara and look like a most beautiful queen. Yes. Nika says, I want Catherine in a blue dress. Ooh. Royalty says, what if they ditch the tiaras totally? Go dressed down for the occasion. I'll perish. Yeah, me too. I'd be very, very, very upset. Very, very upset. This is a great question. Thylodokes or go. Sorry, I can't not pronunciation is not my thing sometimes. Says, sorry for my unpronounceable name. Yes, I'm so sorry. I can't pronounce it. Love your channel. Have you ever been to these type of events in person? So I have not been to a British state banquet, but I have been to a Danish one. So I saw Queen Mary wearing a tiara, and I saw Princess Marie and Princess Benedict. So I thought that was amazing. That was so exciting. My only disappointment is I did not get video of that event. I was thinking my camera would do well, and it did So that is on me. I figure out new things all the time, guys. I'm trying to, I bring a bunch of camera gear. I get pictures. I try to get videos and stuff. And so it's just hard sometimes to get everything at once. But okay. At the state banquet, French champagne and a special gin infused cocktail. A Letante will be served in honor of the French president, the royal family says. Okay, well, that would be nice. I mean, I get it, but I want to see the I want to see the video. I don't care about the champagne yet. Yeah, and Arte says, which is true, all French tiaras are in the Swedish royal court. That is true. The tiaras that all have origins from France are generally in Sweden and Denmark. Carrie says, I hope Madame Macron doesn't wear the same navy gown she always wears. That would be fun. Trish says the banquet hall is called the Long Gallery. Janice says, I hope we will see Catherine debuting the King Charles III Royal Family Order and the Companion of Honor insignia as well. We probably will. So, Caleb says Queen Camilla might wear the honeycomb tiara as it was Cartier, and that added the diamonds to the top when the Queen Mother inherited. That's a possibility. Qatar says, just joined. Have you spoken about the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara? I have. I don't see that one as a strong possibility just because it's currently on display. Although we have also been told that somebody saw the Queen Alexandra Kokoshnik tiara be removed. So I don't know if that's true yet. I haven't seen a picture. Like I prefer to see an actual picture of somebody going, it's not there, getting super excited rather than saying somebody told somebody. Yes. And Leslie says yes, and the Nizam necklace. Possibility as well. It's only me watching, said the Grenville ruby necklace. Possibly. Arte says the French National Day is next week on the 14th. Carol says Spanish state visit. Catherine wore a necklace with diamonds and rubies. She wore a pink marquesa gown. She did, but I just would say it was like a soft pink. So I meant like big, bright, bold colors. She tends to shy away from on these events. Priyanki says, I bet on blue or something in the white family. I would tend to agree. Cebu says, am I live? This is my first. You are live. You are live. We are all live. Carrie says, I hope that Catherine wears something red or blue. I'm tired of the white dresses. Yeah, we have had a lot of the same. I would say especially like her last two appearances, I think both in 2023. The white Jenny Packham gown was amazing. The first one where she wore the lover's knot, and then she wore the Strathmore Rose and a very same dress from the one she wore earlier in the year. And I was kind of like, can we get a different one, please? He says, yes, a sunray type tiara. Melissa J says, doesn't that necklace have matching earrings? The one that Queen Camilla is wearing? Oh, yeah, the Grenville one, probably. It's only me watching says, I've never seen that necklace since. It's gorgeous. Cheryl T in Oklahoma says, so have I missed anything? Not really. We're waiting on this banquet thing right here. So I left it live because that way I can wait and see what happens. Sorry, guys, just getting a little Coca-Cola here. So, Breon, shout out the Ryan's Air Spotter says, are we live yet for the dinner? No. Alice Ransom Ray says, Brittany, does the French tiara the Queen wore for her wedding count as a big gun one? Generally, yes. It is also one that has been worn by the firstborn blood princess of their generation to their wedding. So Queen Elizabeth wore it to hers, Princess Anne wore it to hers, and Princess Beatrice wore it to hers. So what I mean by blood princess is a woman born a princess and is the firstborn of her generation. So the next one would be Princess Charlotte. And so that would be a possibility for Princess Charlotte. But I don't know. I mean, honestly, I can say I don't see it as a super big gun, but the Brits have such amazing pieces that all of them could be considered big guns in some ways. But I really just hoping, because they've kind of stuck to one definition of how the tiaras work and how they're, ooh, we might be going live here in a second, guys. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so I will just mute this just because I could get in trouble. But here we have the gallery. They're getting all prepared. And so that is awesome. So guys, I will be keeping, you can obviously watch this live yourself. I'm just not showing you guys all of it just because for me, there are copyright reasons attached. So I am going to be watching it and then pulling it up as we get something really cool. So just letting you guys know. But you can watch it on a screen somewhere else as well. Priyanki says, Camilla, of course, will wear a big gun tiara. Yeah. Janet Z says Fife. That would be lovely, but it does belong to basically the state. And it was given to the Kensington Palace Museum or the Royal Collection, not the Royal Collection Trust. It was given to historic royal palaces in lieu of taxes. Yeah. Thylacoid says, I'd love to see that flower necklace as a tiara. Yeah. Carrie says, ooh, if Catherine could wear Queen Mary's fringe, that would be amazing. It would be. Melissa says, I'm still childless. I just want to see beautiful tiaras and jewels. Me too. And I am excited to see the possibility of basically maybe getting some better images or maybe even videos of the state visit. Because usually I feel like, again, when it comes to the Brits, and this is just compared to the rest of the royals, like we don't see that much. Carol says Givenchy, a big possibility. Aram Scout says, is it confirmed Catherine will be there? Yes. Yes. Alice Ransom Rave says, Macron said in his address to Parliament that French loved royalty as long as it's not their royalty. Very true. M. Ryan says, Harry and Meghan are a masterclass in how to not appreciate things given so much and still not being happy and tossing it away, complaining. Very true. Filet au Paris says, one of Queen Mary's tiaras ended up in Malaysia. So that is I've seen that report as well, and that is the thought, but it's never been confirmed. So tiara houses or, groups that made tiaras often made multiples. So it's entirely possible that the tiara that they have is a duplicate. Not for certain, of course, but the provenance of it is not confirmed as being British. So I am hesitant to say 100% that it was a Queen Mary tiara. It could just be that jewelry house just made a duplicate. And they did actually do that quite a bit. So it's entirely possible that they have a duplicate and that the tiara they showed could still be in the UK, just in the vault. Solomon says, I think she wore the lotus flower. That's another possibility, although not my favorite. I don't like the lotus flower on Catherine. It just doesn't do anything for me. Nathan says, Brits had the best collection and they're always serving us nothing with barely any events for them except brooches. 100% agree. The Swedes do more, like all the other royal houses do more. And I feel like the Brits are so boring sometimes. Girl Latino says, did you call Princess Catherine Princess Kate in your headline? Yes. Yeah. Because it's called character limits. And so, yeah, I try to get as many keywords in there as possible and decisions have to be made. I've explained that sort of endlessly at this point. So I think people need to kind of get over the Kate Catherine thing. That's just my thought. Jane says, thank goodness the banquet is not taking place at the Waterloo Chamber. Yeah. Sirgan says, will it be black tie or white tie? If it's black tie, they won't wear tiaras at all. Usually it's always white tie in the UK. I've not heard anything about being black tie. It was black tie though in France. Aram Scout says, what tiaras have blue? Maybe the queen will wear blue also so Catherine can have red and white to wear. We shall see. Yeah, Nathan says, Brits always have white tie banquets. I'd be really surprised if they did a black tie one. And that would be like out of left field. So you can see the chamber here is building up a bit. Not super exciting though. I was kind of hoping we'd be closer to the, let's say, royals arriving. There is somebody though wearing they changed the camera angle. There was somebody wearing a royal order. Kathy T said, well, the dinner starts soon, probably in the next 20 or so minutes. I would imagine we would see the royals. Melissa J said, I meant the diamond and ruby necklace Catherine wore in her first year of marriage. That we were speculating could be turned into tiara. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. Khalid says, GB News is streaming the banquet live. Yep. Sos says there's coverage on the Sky News. Yeah, there's a couple of places. I just went with the Royal Family Channel. Momster says, "Have I missed anything? Just joining." Not really. We've just been speculating over what tiaras. Currently, right now, we are not officially starting yet, but there is the banquet hall all set up, and the guests are checking out their tables and their seating locations and stuff. So Queen Camilla and King Charles will most likely be in the middle of the table. Osrance Ray says, I love the fact that the Grenadine Guards, who are named after the French soldiers who the British defeated, were on parade for Macron. Oh, man. Yeah. Ah, Catherine's in deep red wearing the Cambridge lover's knot. So we shall see here. I haven't seen. So we do have pictures. Aw, I was a little disappointed. I was really hoping for something different. But we do have Catherine here wearing red. I don't know who the design. I feel like this is Alexander McQueen. That would be my guess. But very, very nice here. Very, very nice. So hopefully we shall see more. Don't think we have it on video yet. Maybe GB News somewhere else has the entrances. Always hoping for that. But this is what we have. Let's say Queen Camilla. Queen Camilla is in white in the Belgian sapphire. I thought that might be a possibility for her. So there we go, guys. Queen Camilla in the Belgian sapphire and Brigitte Macron. So we do have actually a red, white, and blue theme. So the top three ladies are wearing red, white, and blue. So let's see if we get more. So we don't have the pictures with the three of them together yet, but Catherine's in red and they're in red, white, and blue. So all the colors of the UK and the UK and French flag. So very much a red, white, and blue theme. So let's go over to Royal Family Channel Live. Hoping we get something else here soon. Let's see if we have Duchess Sophie and see if we have a look for her yet. Nope. No picture of Duchess Sophie yet. So that must be where the King, His Majesty, is sitting with Emmanuel Macron. Ooh, let's see if we can see. Oh, yeah, we have the double family orders here. So we do have Catherine wearing Her Majesty's order in the yellow, and then His Majesty's order there in the blue, which is a little higher. This is her Royal Victorian Order. And this piece is the new commendation she got last year. Now, I can't quite remember what they called it, but I do think Catherine looks fabulous in the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot. And she doesn't often put her hair down for tiaras. So that is fun. Kathy T said, rats, the Cambridge tiara, disappointed. Yeah, I feel a little bit of that too. Not that it's not beautiful, guys. It's definitely beautiful, but I really do want to see more from the collection, but might just be how they're doing it. Nathan says French Order of Merit. Possibility, but Catherine got a special accommodation last year from King Charles. I can't quite remember. She was like the first royal to get it, but I can't quite remember what it was called. So let's check out and go to maybe GB News and see if maybe they have they have a live stream of it as well, as somebody said. Oh, they have the same coverage. Pretty much. Yeah. Okay. So just to let you guys be aware, just in case you're curious, is that when it comes to the coverage of these state visits, there's generally only one camera in play. And what I mean is like one camera team in play. And that camera team broadcasts it to everybody else because you can't have 12 news outlets covering in one tiny location. And so I think they need a larger space. They just limit it to one team, and that team's responsibility is to broadcast it to everyone. Because then when I looked on GB News, it was the same coverage, and so that's because again they're all basically using the same feed, and so it is filling up here. Hoping, fingers crossed, we see actual video of their arrivals soon here. Oh, there's a quite. I don't know if she'll be there by the time I switch back. But her dress is quite lovely, whoever that is. She has a quite lovely dress. I like that a lot, actually. So the guests that will be invited generally are, you obviously have the natural government people who are invited, but also different. So Mateo says Givenchy by Sarah Burton. I am not surprised. Did I not call that, guys, as a possibility? Yes, I called that. I definitely called that. So I knew it. Because Catherine and Sarah seem to have a really close relationship because the first person Catherine called when Charlotte's dress did not fit as a bridesmaid, her first call was to Sarah Burton going, oh my gosh, can we please fix this? Carol says Chris Jackson is taking pictures. That's always a good thing. He gets fantastic pictures. Fantastic pictures. And it might be, guys, that we don't have really anybody else attending because all I'm seeing are King Charles and Catherine and William and Camilla. Like, I'm not seeing anybody else. So here we have the video again. Ooh, there's a tiara she's wearing. Ooh, wonder what aristocratic family she's from. Or she borrowed one. That's my dream also, is to borrow one. Ooh, we have another. That looks like Strathmore Rose is very close. So I point that out again, guys, because it goes back to the theme of that jewelers tended to make multiple versions of the same tiara. And so, yeah. Priyanki asks, is Sophie there? I have not seen confirmation yet that Sophie is there. Have not seen confirmation yet. So, I knew she would wear Sarah Burton. I knew it. Okay, and Sophie and the Duchess of Gloucester also there. Okay, we just must not be seeing them as of yet. So guys, what I'm checking is Getty Images, and we don't have the images up yet. But hopefully we will have a nice entrance, and so we can maybe see everyone. So Kathy T says, I thought Alexander McQueen was by Sarah Burton. Do I have that wrong? Thanks. Yeah. So actually, Sarah Burton left Alexander McQueen last year, I believe it was, and landed at Givenchy. So I thought it was kind of ironic at the time because Meghan Markle's dressmaker ended up at I think got pushed out of Givenchy after Meghan left the monarchy, and then is kind of like a designer for a Japanese brand. Like she took a big step back. Like there's nothing bigger than the haute couture houses in France. Like that's the pinnacle of a designer's career, is that. And so she left that and I think got pushed out. And so then Sarah Burton voluntarily left Alexander McQueen, wanted to, let's say, go elsewhere, and ended up at Givenchy, so taking over from the designer Meg Markle's dress. Lucky Lou says, is Camilla wearing Dior? She might. Camilla does like Dior. So, haven't heard confirmation yet. Catherine debuted 2 French brands. Yes, she did. Oh, I should post this. I'm like so busy watching. I'm like, I need to doing multiple things at the same time is not always exactly the way you want to do things. There's a little bit more of the live stream coverage we have here. And so hopefully, again, we can, in a little bit, get the royals' entrances and see more of the looks that we haven't seen so far. So, yeah, I feel like I like the dress, and then it feels a little understated at the same time, if that makes sense. So it really works well. But yeah, I have mixed feelings. All right. So sorry for a little bit of pause there. I was thinking of typing at the same time. So that always causes a little bit of so there is the there. So Solomon says Princess Anne is wearing the festoon tiara, Duchess of Edinburgh wearing the aquamarine necklace tiara. Also, not really any fun things, I guess you could say, would be my thought there. Sorry. Like that all around is kind of like, that maybe is not what people want to hear. But sort of my thought, everyone. It's kind of like, eh. But I like it, guys, because to me, I just liked being honest. I prefer similar things. So this is Catherine and William coming out. We can see Catherine's probably wearing, let's see, maybe probably some dark burgundy pumps. We have Princess Anne right here. You can see the festoon and Sophie here in the aquamarine necklace. I can't quite see what the Duchess of Gloucester is wearing back there, but we do have the royal ladies. All the other royal ladies are wearing white, it seems. Catherine wore red. And again, we have red, white, and blue. So, can I stream the camera view now? So the camera view, I don't have any actual royal attendees yet. So this is the look. So usually we have the royals entering at some point, although this is a bit different because we do have it at Windsor. So I'm not quite sure what we'll see. Shelty in Oklahoma says, I just saw a woman in black dress with this huge white bow on her bust line. Oh my goodness. Apparently that was the big bow dress was a terrible choice for that woman. Oh, we'll have to look. Carrie says, poor Sophie. Yeah, I really just wish they would kind of adjust a little bit, the Brits. Janet says she was made a royal companion of honor. That's right. That's what it was. Thank you. Thank you. Mateo says, question, why do the British royals always seem to wear white at their same banquets? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We see a lot of variety from the other royals. And so I'm not sure why the British stick to what they do. I feel like we're still a little bit in the post Elizabeth II time where they don't know, like they want to keep with her traditions. And then at the same time, they don't want to quite yet change things up. Oh, that's commercial. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Oh, that's bad. That is bad. That is awful. Oh, that is terrible. That is awful, awful fashion. So going back to the Brits, I feel like they haven't, I don't know if evolved is the right word, but they haven't, I would say, adjusted. They're still sticking to kind of what Queen Elizabeth II did. And I think it's time to kind of adjust. That's my sentiment. Yes, you don't want to make like rash decisions, but I think other decisions can be made is my thought. So here is the whole ballroom again. I feel like we're still missing quite a few people. And I'm hoping they make the procession here at about 4:00 p.m. Eastern time, which would be 9 p.m. their time. Golly, that's a late dinner. They tend to do that though sometimes. I'm like, ooh, isn't that a little late? But what do I know? What do I know? Ooh, Catherine and William too shared a picture that we haven't. They've never done this before. Oh gosh, guys. This is exciting. So Catherine and William shared a picture on the greens. This is gorgeous. Ready for what promises to be a wonderful state banquet this evening in Windsor. I gotta say, I love the picture. I love the picture. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So that is from Catherine and William themselves. So I wish they would do sort of oops, sorry. I'm so sorry. I hit the mic. I wish they would do more of those kind of things. I'm glad they're doing it a bit. They're doing some more video, but I'm hoping they get even better at that. But stunning. Absolutely stunning. Like, I mean, there's a part of me that loves this, but also feels like the dress is rather understated for a state occasion. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Alice Ransom Ray says that's lovely. They're really doing more social media recently. Yeah. I mean, I still think they need to up the game a bit more. Sometimes it takes them a long time to get pictures out. I think they should be a bit better about getting faster about that. But oops, good thing. But I'm glad they are doing more of that as well. All right. And we do have a picture here of Princess Anne. So hold on just one second. In case you are curious, there is a Princess Anne in the festoon tiara there. And oh, it looks like I'm not just familiar with the name of that one off the top of my head, but that's a pretty substantial piece that the Duchess of Gloucester is wearing. Very exciting though. I mean, I was hoping for something a little bit more, but gorgeous as well. Just trying to see which one that might be. Don't think it's a honeysuckle. It's not a turquoise. Not sure which one. All right. So, not sure which one the Duchess of Gloucester is wearing, but it is a beautiful piece from what we can see. So, Princess Anne, though, looking good. She always attends. She wasn't at the lunch, which surprised me a little bit, but let's see what else we have. Since we do have. Oh, no, Sophie. Oh, no, guys. Oh, no. Have you seen her dress yet? I'm almost sad to share it. Oh, that's bad. That's kind of sort of bad. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I like that at all. Oh, there we go. Not sure I like that. Lucky Lou says these senior ladies need more makeup against the white dress and backdrop. That's probably true, I would say. And it's rare also as well to have the natural light in that situation. So might be less flattering than they're used to. Less controls. Alice says that's a hefty necklace Anna's wearing. That is true. Alice Ransom Rave says, I think the lover's knot is swamping her a little. She's lost a little weight. Very understandably, I think that would be better for a smaller one. I have a feeling of that too. I noticed that recently. She definitely has lost a little. Lucky Lou says, Sophie is a hit or miss when it comes to fashion. Yeah, she needs, like, she's so close. Like, when I see her, I go, oh, Sophie, you're so close. You could just do 5% more there. It would be absolutely fantastic. It'd be, yeah, I have to say, this is a big old no for me. This is a big old fashioned no. Yep. Oh, that's Cebu says the Princess of Wales should have worn the one that she wears when she played the piano during the Eurovision. Yeah, that would have been awesome. I do agree. That would have been fantastic. Carol says the sleeves threw off the look. Yeah, I think so. I don't think they suit her at all. Cheryl T in Oklahoma says Sophie's dress isn't bad, but not fabulous either. Yeah, it's just. Solomon says the Duchess of Gloucester is wearing the turquoise tiara. So let me put in the Duchess of Gloucester. I couldn't. Let's see. Ooh, there's actually a lovely picture of her. Yeah, you're right. She's wearing the turquoise. I just couldn't see it. But let me show you here real quick. Let's make sure no royals have walked in on the video, not that I've seen. And here we have the Duchess of Gloucester. She looks lovely. She's really aged like fine wine, I think. She looks fantastic. I don't really care for the turquoise necklace. The brooch here is wonderful. She's also wearing the King Charles Order here. She's also a Lady Knight of the Garter, so she wears that. But that's a substantial piece right there, that turquoise. I think it would just look fabulous on Catherine, a turquoise piece. That's my thought. That's my thought. But the Duchess of Gloucester, I think she's so elegant. I really do think she is. And so, yeah, big mad props to the Duchess of Gloucester. She looks great. She looks great. So here we are back here. So this event will be filled with, government people, maybe cultural people connected to France. Obviously, that's a lot of possibilities. So if there's a French actor in the UK, they will utilize them, those sorts of things. So, and we keep waiting. We keep waiting on the live stream because I'm really hoping we get some official entrances soon. Because what I think would be awesome, I think Catherine's dress will move beautifully. I think it'll move absolutely beautifully. I think it'll be amazing. Mateo says, what if Catherine busts out the Persian turquoise in the future? That is my dream. That is my dream. Christina says, do you think Sir David and Lady Victoria will be there? I don't think so. Lucky Lou says, does Sophie have a stylist or does she wing it herself? I'm going to guess she wings it herself. Lucky Lou says, the Duchess of Gloucester has kept her figure nicely. She has. She has. She looks fantastic. And again, the band is stepping up, guys. So you could actually see them standing up in the background. So we might be getting something. Ooh, here we go. Here's the fun bit. Hold on just 1 second. I will remove it just for 1 second again, guys, for copyright reasons. And as soon as their majesties come out, and we see them, here we go. 1, 2. Sorry, I'm waiting for 3. So there's King Charles. This is not bad. You have Queen Camilla and Brigitte Macron in the background there. Sorry, again, for copyright reasons, I pull it out, and then we'll put it back in here in a second. So there's Queen Camilla in the Belgian Sapphire, a good option. I thought she'd go for, to be quite honest. And then we have Catherine, and that dress does move beautifully. It does move quite well. There's Sophie. We're talking very animatedly. Princess Anne. Everybody looking very good. And then there's the Duchess of Gloucester. Looking very amazingly. So, that was what I've been waiting the whole time for. Hopefully we get something else here in a second. And I'm sure we'll get some sort of, I'm curious how they'll even enter the room and go around. Okay, so we do have an indication. So they enter from the far back over there. And I imagine they'll move that way. And I wonder if some half of the group will move around to the other side. This is actually quite big compared to the Swedish state visits in some ways. Oh, I had it live stream going on my phone. So it turned on all of a sudden. All right, so we can see Catherine over here. Okay, so what this means is that William and Camilla went on the other side. So that is how they're going to do this. It's a huge table, so this is, well, it's kind of like how they do it either way. So that is not surprising at all. It's not surprising at all. And so then we have Edward here and Anne and pointing to where they're going to sit. Anne, I'm sure, knows all this stuff like the back of her hand at this point. So there's Catherine there. And the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot, often called the Cambridge Lover's Knot, but it's actually not the Cambridge Lover's Knot. It's different. She's wearing the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot. So there's King Charles with Emmanuel Macron. I like that we're getting a bit of closer camera shots here. Ooh, we saw the Duchess of Gloucester's tiara come by. Like Mary Lou says, Sophie, what was she thinking? I don't know. I don't know. She gets so close sometimes, and then she just doesn't quite make it. And so there's Catherine. I mean, the Queen Mary's is quite a substantial piece for sure. And so it looks like they are about to sit down. I'd imagine it'd be hard to lean your head down appropriately and not have issues. Oh, man. Oh, that would be true. Carrie says, "I think if Catherine had bigger tiara hair a la Sweden, the tiara would look better." That's probably true. Uh, Priyanki says, "Catherine is seated near Macron." That is correct. Carol says, "The Cambridge Lovers Knot is in Germany." I don't know if that's right. There's a Lovers Knot in Germany, but I don't think it's a Cambridge, if I remember right. Because I've actually seen that one. I've taken a picture of it. So there is the table all set. It is huge. I feel like the Brits have an especially big state banquet. I feel like Sweden's is a bit smaller and more intimate and more manageable because this seems gigantic to me. But you can tell. Can you tell where Charles's chair is? Can you tell? Oh no. Oh, never mind. They pushed it in. So there was a chair that was kind of sitting out there, and I thought that was Charles's, but no. So they've all seated, and of course, there is a time when a speech will be given. So I'm just watching it and to see if we get any interesting camera angles or anything like that. Again, the nice thing is here we actually get a closer camera view because usually the camera's kind of far in the back. Of course, we're not getting as lovely videos as we do for other state visits, but that's Shelty in Oklahoma says, I would be concerned about needing to get up and go to the ladies' room. Yeah, me too. How do you do that? I do not know. Lucky Lou says, huge table, gorgeous. It is. Shelty says, when you get to my age, you start thinking of these things. I think of them too, especially when I have like a long royal watching date. I was like, how many times did I go to the bathroom? Did I go to the bathroom enough times? Am I going to be good? Oh man, guys, Catherine is hidden. Darn. Darn, 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 ladies and gentlemen. I wonder if they'll switch camera angles after King Charles's speech. I do have it muted just for copyright reasons. So let's listen to maybe a little bit of it here.
I recall with such fond memories our visit to France in 2023, when you so graciously hosted us, Monsieur le Président. Much has happened in the meantime.
So again, I don't have all the copyright approvals, so we cannot listen to the full thing. But if you want to listen to the Royal Family channel, you are welcome to on your end. I'm just waiting here to see if we get an alternative view of Catherine in the tiara here, because one of the things I really like about, especially as we get even better camera equipment and stuff like that, is that we get just such incredible details on these tiaras that we did not get before. Tracy says, where can you watch the dinner? So I'm streaming the Royal Family channel. That is what I'm streaming. And they will show the speeches and they'll show the toasts. But then after that, they will, the cameras will leave. The cameras do not watch the entire dinner. They're only there for the speeches and then they depart. So we can see Prince William here. We can see William, Duchess of Gloucester. Oh, sorry, Queen Camilla there. Oh, we can see a little bit. Oh, the cross angle isn't good. Gosh darn it. I was really hoping the cross angle would be good. Oh, this makes me sad. I really wanted to see Catherine's tiara a bit better. Oh. So just waiting to see if, like, as they toast, if we maybe get a little bit of better view of the Queen Mary's Lovers Knot, Catherine and the tiara. Alice says, I think it's funny that it's technically Macron could fly back to Paris in no time, and yet he's staying here. Yeah, it is kind of funny because he could go back very soon. Carol said William the Conqueror was mentioned. Yeah, which makes sense. Yes, there's an official picture of the Prince and Princess of Wales. Yeah, we did show that earlier that they shared, which I thought was sort of awesome because they don't really generally do that. So it's nice to be able to get some of those things together. All right. So Charles is still giving his speech here. Hopefully we have. Stacey says, I wonder if Meghan Markle is understanding King Charles III speaking French. Well, it's kind of like her speaking Spanish, which she doesn't really speak though. All right, we have another shot here. I like that we have different shots, although I still would like if we could see Catherine better. Oh, that's just such a shame. I mean, I know it's about Charles. I know it's about Charles. But I watched the state banquets for the tiaras, let's be honest. Imagine that many of you do too. So Alice Ransom Rave says William the Conqueror was annoyed at the French king, which is partly why he invaded. He considers himself Norman, not French, which I always think is funny. Yeah, I actually have a book that I was going to reference in a little short. It says this is called A Thousand Years of Annoying the French, the relationship between the UK and France, or the British and the French. I just love the title. Thousand Years of Annoying the French. Perfection. Nancy says, I wish the flower arrangements were shorter. Me too. Lizzie B says, I was hoping Catherine was going to wear the honeycomb tiara or the tech crescent. The tech crescent would be fun. Jackie says, oh, it's all about the tiaras. It is on Royal Fashion News. It is for sure. Kate and Ms. Macron have the same dress. Alice says, yes, Brittany, I have that book. Awesome. Mary Lou says, it's about Charles, but we're here for the fashion. Don't they know that? I know. Like, why not show the fashion? Why don't we get the good camera angles here for the tiaras, guys? It should always be about getting the correct tiara angle. Lucky Lou says, who decides what tiara will be worn? So generally, if let's say, in the case of Catherine, I think she has control over the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot. She doesn't have to ask. I think she could, she'll share what she's planning on wearing. But there's not really any requirements about what the lady. Well, I went through this. There's kind of a hierarchy and combined blood situation. So the higher you are in the line of succession, the grander tiara you will receive. The lower you are in the order of succession, the less grander tiara you will receive, and then the higher pick you'll get. And so, yeah, it all just depends. But I mean, if the ladies have ones that they personally own, then they are welcome to wear those at any point. Like the aquamarine necklace tiara is one Sophie owns. Like I was so excited that when Sophie wore the lotus flower, because I'm like, yes, something different. But the same. I was just really hoping the Brits would get out of their rut a little bit. They're in a bit of a rut when it comes to tiaras. I'm sorry, but they are. They have a fantastic collection, and you should not put tiaras in a corner. That is my thought. Jackie says, I read that Camilla is very open to them being shared. That was my impression, but we haven't seen too much of that in action yet. So there's Camilla there. You can see in the Belgian, and then there's Prince William out there. So there has been some sharing, but just not as much as I was hoping. I was hoping to see more. So Charles is still giving the speech there, and hopefully we're winding down here for a second and we can see them giving a toast, and then Macron will take over, and then the angle will switch for Macron. But yeah. Linda says, so Meghan gets a Burger King crown. Yeah, a little bit. Lucky Lou says, I think Queen Camilla looks gorgeous and really upped her fashion game over the past 5 years. I would agree with that. a little bit. Okay, I was hoping that would be some more interesting people, but really not. Somebody's checking out his menu. So here we had the other angle of Charles here giving his speech. Catherine not on screen on the far side. And yes, I know this is how it works, but it's still disappointing. There needs to be K Coffee says, "Brittany, you need to put that on a shirt. You should not put tiaras in a corner or leave them in the vault." Oh, man, I agree. We might have to do that. We might have to do that. RD says, I would rather prefer some pieces being reserved for only the queen." That is true. I understand that that's definitely a distinct possibility, but I'm really hoping that when it comes to the tiaras, that it's sort of kind of loosened a bit. There should be some that are just reserved for the queen, but I think there are like the Belgian sapphire. I think Catherine could wear. I think Catherine could wear that as the Princess of Wales. Right. Nobody. Lucky Lou says, "When will Charlotte wear a tiara?" It's hard to say because the other royals, girls get to wear tiaras when they're like 18. The prince, it's usually for a state visit. So I don't know when or if or whenever Charlotte will wear a tiara. It might not be until she's 18 or maybe not be until she's married. I know there's a thought going around and that royal women don't wear tiaras until their wedding. That's sort of a like a total misconception. I think when it comes to aristocratic women, that's generally the case, but mostly because most of them don't have an occasion to wear a tiara except for their wedding or unless they go to a state banquet like this. So I have the thought that she will probably wear it sometime after she's 18, but we don't know when. We don't know when, or she might not wear one until she's married. I don't know. It's been a while since we've had a royal in Charlotte's seat, and the Brits are just sort of weird about this kind of stuff compared to the other royals. So get a different view of Charles, but still can't totally see Catherine very well. Oh, I feel like this is a long speech. Liz E says, "I thought it was not until wedding." There's a woman who runs and I mean it's good, but it's a channel where she's like the Countess of Sandwich or something, and she talks about how they only wear a tiara after the wedding, but that's just simply not true. I mean, we see a bunch of royal ladies, especially in the other countries, wearing tiaras after they turn 18. Sometimes they take their 18th birthday pictures with tiaras. And that happened with Princess Ingrid Alexandra of Norway. And when it comes to Britain, like Princess Anne was wearing tiaras after she turned 18. But we haven't had a situation like Anne in decades because William was the heir to the heir. So he was not, in Anne's case, when she got older, like the daughter of the queen, like William was only became the Prince of Wales a couple of years ago. And so the situation in Britain is so different. That's why it's really fascinating to see the whole British situation is because the Brits, I feel like in some ways, because Elizabeth reigned for so long, and as her capabilities in some ways diminished, she got older, so she couldn't stand as long. She didn't do as many tiara events and those sorts of things. They whittled and whittled and whittled things down. And when it comes to their contemporaries, they just look profoundly different. And I think they only bring out tiaras for like state events, and that's it. There's generally 3 secured occasions you will see a tiara on a woman in the United Kingdom. So state visit, diplomatic reception in December. Those are the only 3 times. So, yeah. Arde says Princess Anne Charlotte will be the first blood senior female member of the BRF since Princess Anne. Yes. So it'll be interesting to see. Melissa says, "I missed what tiara is Camilla wearing?" She's wearing the Belgian sapphire tiara. Arde says, yeah. And then Janet says, "Princess Anne wore her first tiara, the Cartier halo, when she attended the state opening of Parliament in 1966 when she was 17 years old." Yeah. So very young. Barbara says, "Is it possible Princess Catherine wore the lover's knot because she knows her body reacts to it? And with her recent poll of asking us, one is sure her ability to stay in the dinner?" I don't think so. I would actually argue that the lover's knot is actually not the preferable choice because it has moving elements. It's heavier, I would imagine, than something like the Cartier halo would be fairly light. The Strathmore rose should be very light. The I would honestly argue that I would think the Queen Mary's lover's knot would be more uncomfortable. So it's actually a bit of a surprising choice for me. But yeah, Dawn says Charlotte, after she was 18 and at a steak banquet or diplomatic reception. And we don't even know if she'll do those. There's kind of a weird, again, the Brits are strange because I think they were in such a weird spot for so long. They're kind of struggling to get up to where everybody else is at. Because, Catherine Amalia is attending huge state functions and she's 21. And I don't know if we'll see that from George because William didn't do it until he was in his late 20s, 30s. And so he could do that though because there was such a buffer between him and kind of everybody else, between him and his father, and because his grandmother had lived so long and everything. But now, like, I feel like things should be changing, is my thought. P Pacific says, I met Princess Diana. She wore the Cambridge Lover's Knot. Can we talk? Nothing more dazzling, sparkling, blinding. Meeting Diana was an honor and thrill, and memories etched into my mind forever. That is so cool. That is so cool. Imperial Palace Complex says, I really want to see someone who wears jewels like Queen Mary Alexandra. Yeah, they really knocked it out of the park. We don't do that level of fun anymore. Alice Ransom Rave says William doesn't want his kids to do royal duties until they're fully grown, and that's just not going to happen. And he has to accept that. I agree. I think William is they are not going to get his experience, and he got a great experience, but that's just not simply not reality anymore. And that he got a special circumstance. He got a hugely special circumstance. And if Ingrid Alexandra, Catherine Amalia, Elizabeth, I imagine Estelle, if they are all doing royal duties when they are early teenagers, his kids, and teenagers in terms of like 18 and up, his kids can do it too. Oh. Somebody said he was on his last page, but apparently not according to the live stream I have. Okay, come on, Charles. Oh, no, it went back to the beginning. Never mind. Almost. Almost. Maggie says, I would like to see a new tiara created from old jewels, plenty to work with, a tiara to meet the princess's needs. Yeah, I mean, they have plenty that can meet Charlotte's needs. Strathmore Rose is a perfect one. Queen Mary's Diamond Bandeau is another great one. The Grenville, like, those are all options. Yeah, Carol said Queen Mary's Lover's Knot was a copy of the Cambridge Lover's Knot due to loving it so much. Melanie says, Brittany, you should put up a poll on which tiara. I did put up a poll on X, but obviously I was wrong. Arde says they'd be fools not to train Charlotte to become a working member of the BRF. Exactly. Linda says, would Harry and Meghan have been there if they stayed? Yes, they would have been at events like this. But Meghan wants to party with Beyonce, or not party with Beyonce, get hammered at a Beyonce concert. That is more exciting to Meghan Markle than actually attending a French state visit and wearing a tiara and a gown and having everybody, freak out about things like, yeah. Michelle says, William has to understand that there's expectations and reality. Yes. Lizzie said Princess Leonora as well. Yeah, Princess Leonora is doing a bunch of events. She hasn't done like a state one yet, though. Lizzie says Princess Margaret turned 18 and wore tiaras whenever she could. Palace receptions, film premieres, other high-profile events. I'm really of the thought that we should be. Oh, we have officially stood. Oh wait, maybe this was when I got my. Wait, hold on. We're playing the national anthem. That's what's happening there. I'm like, what is going on? Did I miss something? But no, they're playing the national anthem. Okay, and there we go. There's Catherine. Wow, the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot does have a high profile. You can tell quite a bit. Looked quite stark and white when she was walking out in red, too. Priyanki says, how long will the speeches go? I mean, usually I would say they would last 10 to 15 minutes. This one seemed very long to me. All right, there we go. There's William. Of course, we can't see Catherine. So disappointing in some ways. And Some applause. William sat down. William, I think you need to, William, dude, William, faux pas there, man. Stand up, stand up. I know everybody's sitting again. That was a kind of a big faux pas from William. I feel like he should have stood up when everybody else did. Melody says Brittany should put up a pool on which tiara she was going to wear. Sorry for the extra post. I hit the send button. Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, I was wrong. Alice says, I agree. William was very lucky. He was free to grow up far more slowly than his father's generation. I don't think he's quite realized it's not going to be an option for his children. Yeah, I think he thinks they'll have his experience, and that won't be the case. By the time they become 18, he'll probably be king. And so, yeah. Michelle says they try to please everyone, and that's impossible. There's always going to be an anti-monarchist. That's true. So we can see Catherine's tiara a little bit through the arrangement there. Oh, if they could just move the camera a little bit more. Oh, come on. All right. And Marjorie says the press code does not concentrate heavily on the British RF, so maybe that's why William is protecting her. Maybe, but it's not going to get any better, and it's just his life. There's just nothing really he can do much about it. Stacey says he's done. Yay! William could gain time for his children of bringing up his cousins. Yeah, will he try? We have heard he will try, and he should. Joanne says Catherine doesn't seem to have a problem wearing the Cambridge livery. She doesn't, but I was just saying that because it moves, Diana didn't particularly like it. So its movement could cause issues. And generally, the bigger tiaras, the heavier they are. Jackie says that girl has no appreciation for royal life of service. Talking about Meghan, no. Mary Lou says Charlotte was born to wear tiaras. Maybe she'll have clout with her papa and her mom and can turn William around. I don't even know if Catherine really likes the big jewelry guy. She tends to not bust it out often. So I'm just get a sense sometimes that it's not really her thing. Oh, we can't see Catherine that angle either. So I do worry for the future a little bit. I do worry. Lucky Lou says, imagine the chef in the kitchen. Hold, the king is almost finished. Imperial Palace Complex says, I think Charlotte could debut with the Queen Alexander Kokoshnik. I would say that's a strong no. That's definitely a queen level tiara. So I would say no. And it says, I actually like Sophie's dress. The sleeves are a bit big, but the tailoring is good. Sometimes her clothes are too big and loose, right? Yeah, she has a trouble with fit. And so that's kind of the challenge I feel like Sophie has, is a bit of getting the fit right. And she tends to, and I hate to use the term, but definitely do a best and worst dress list. And I will actually show out a clear example, is Sophie can tend to look frumpy. And there's a look where she looks frumpy that I have, and a look where she actually looks really great and streamlined, and it's actually very similar. I think she just needs help getting a good look together. Jackie says, Catherine gives the press nothing to catch on to because she lives an honorable life. I mean, I don't know about honorable, but she's not looking for press attention. That's kind of the thing. She's not looking for it, and so she doesn't have it. Okay, so we have this angle, which is a bit wider. Oh, we just don't. Ugh. Oh, come on. Come on, Brits. Lucky Lou says, Diana's hair was short. Catherine has a good thick head of hair to grip the tiara. Very true. Alice says, I know some wrong talk about the future, but William's coronation is going to be insane. There's going to be a lot of interest in that, for sure. Marjorie says, Queen Camilla certainly enjoys the bling. She does, and she wears it well. Some women do and some women don't. Oh, there's His Majesty. Mary Lou says, Charlotte loved her tiaras, especially after that cardboard number they gave Charlotte and her mom to wear for the coronation. I mean, I don't know. But we'll see. Frigg says, hi, Brittany. Mods chat. I'm so glad I turned on the TV right now. I'm so glad you did as well. Lucky Lou says, do you think George and Charlotte will both be prepared for the possibility of inheriting the crown? I don't know, to be quite honest. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. P Pacific said, dried flowers. Yes, folks. A French. Oh, somebody's at my door. Oh, I might need to sign for something. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Enjoy the chat. I will be right back, guys. Hold on. I might have to Well, maybe we should end it? I don't know. I feel like I need to get that. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I mute. So I was just gonna see. I was when I got down there and they like needed a signature, I thought, oh, maybe they needed a like maybe it was the Ana Lucia thing, but no, it was wine. So it was wine that I ordered to compare to Megan's from the same thing that Megan ordered from. So yeah. So sorry. I ran downstairs, ran back upstairs. I wish I could have had this playing the whole time, but not quite. Lucky Lou says Brittany needs to show ID for the wine. I did. And then I'm like, my place is a mess because I've been trying to change things up and stuff. So yeah, that was what it was. But I was really hoping it was Ana Lucia and we could end the video looking at Ana Lucia. But that's not what happened. Rick said, what did I miss? Not much. So I had to go down and get a delivery. And poor the poor FedEx guy, it's really hot and humid where I'm at today. And he was just like sweating buckets. And I felt so sorry for him. It's so hot. So hot. Imperial Palace Complex says, I chose the Kokoshnish because I think Charlotte would be best suited for it. If she's taller than maybe the 5 for the Vladimir, those are the typically less used ones. So I mean, that's interesting, but that's the 5's not an option because it's owned by the historic royal palaces. Like it's not even an option for her. The Kokoshnik is would not be allowed for her because it's a big gun. She's not going to be queen. So, and Vladimir, same thing. I feel like it's a big gun tiara. So that's generally how things go. It's not just because somebody's tall or it would look better on somebody or what have you. It's if you're queen, if you're the wife of the heir or the heir herself, then yeah. BMJ says, what t-shirt are you wearing? So this is from the loft. So it has like sparkles on the sleeves. So that's why I was like, put it on. Okay, Coffee says, I live in a 55 plus community. I don't have to show my ID for wine for anything. Yeah, he asked for ID. And I'm like, crap, where's my ID? Nia Neekins says, thank you so much for covering this live. You are welcome. Arde says, true. They usually pull out from this vault starter tiaras. Yeah. So Strathmore Rose, Mary's Bandeau, not Vladimir, Grenville, Emerald, the Eugenie wore, the Cartier Halo. Those are all sort of starter pieces. And that's what she would be given. She would not be given something just because she's tall or fits her better. She's not going to be queen. So she just gets something less. So yeah, Alice Ransom Ray says, I think Charlotte's first tiara will be Strathmore or Halo. Her mother has worn both and they're smaller. Exactly. So Lucky Lou says, Brittany, can you have a computer mat made with all of the tiaras? Maybe. Thyclinoids says, just been watching the speeches. The placement of those flowers blocking Catherine must be on purpose. Maybe they're giving her a little privacy from the scrutiny of the camera. I mean, could be, but it would just be. I mean, I just feel like this is just annoying. I mean, this is not surprising me that it's there. It's just they choose a bit different. Yeah. Marjorie says, I think Strathmore Rose is likely first tiara for Charlotte. I agree. Stacy says the centerpiece blocking Catherine reminds me of Anne's feather. It's very annoying. Artie says, not one's worn for a long time. I mean, yeah. Carol says, I don't see Charlotte wearing the Cartier halo. I can see Charlotte wearing the Cartier halo like Princess Anne and Princess Margaret. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes sense for sure. Let's see how many. Sorry, I'm not focusing on my thing. Oh, this is just like, I feel like this is a crime against tiaras. So there's a crime against tiara watching that we can't see it. Oh, Imperial Palace at the Lotus would look good on her as well. That's another possibility for her. Lotus is definitely a possibility. Lucky Lou says Princess Margaret was such a character. Miss her. She was. Tracy says Town and Country Online still has pics of the royals. Yeah, they probably have the same ones from the I just use Getty Images. They usually have all the pictures. And the Brits just don't have a ton. That's how they generally have always operated. I've always found it annoying, especially once you watch the other royals and you realize that you get a lot more from other families. So let's see. But it also depends on what description you put in Getty Images. I just feel like what we get from like, ooh, we're doing toasts again. Just feel like what we get from the Netherlands is so fantastic. And clapping again. Celebrating the relationship. So basically everything is sort of on the downward. We're wrapping up here. The cameras will kind of stop the feed here in a minute. It looks like it's gotten darker outside too, because the whole thing is darker there. Yep. And that's went to black. So guys, that's it. Sadly, that is it. So this was both lovely and slightly disappointing, I do have to say, wrapping it up. I do love Catherine in the red. I mean, the Lover's Knot is an expected choice. I'm just really, really hoping we get a bit more playfulness with the collection. I mean, we did get kind of glimmers of, Queen Camilla wearing a tiara usually Sophie wears, Sophie wearing the lotus flower that Catherine usually wears. So we've had like glimpses of the future where more tiaras are shared. And so I'm just hoping generally that is where the future is going. I really, really want there to be more tiara sharing. We did get Queen Camilla in the Belgian sapphire, Princess Anne in the festoon. We have Sophie in the aquamarine necklace, and the Duchess of Gloucester in her turquoise tiara. So I think the red, white, and blue, though, theme for the ladies, the three most high profile ladies, was a very, very, very touch, I think. I think it was a great touch. I'm sure they all coordinated and stuff. But yeah, Imperial Palace Complex says, could you do a stream where you go over the tiaras? I've done quite a few videos kind of explaining the tiaras, but we shall go through them again. I need to do videos explaining the whole collections and everything, but we will get to that soon. I'll probably do a video on the fashion and everything for the state visit today as well. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's a little less chaotic and a little less of a doorbell ring. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And Thylacoid says, thank you so much for your enthusiasm and sense of fun. I will change my YouTube name for future lives. Yes, I am so sorry. I can't pronounce it. I think I've pronounced it differently every single time. So, guys, thank you so much for checking it out. Again, more coverage of this to come soon. Au revoir, as Lucky Lou says. And I shall talk to you guys again. Well, today, you'll see a video about this visit today. So, guys, again,